A wonderful evening to you anywhere. This is Nationwide from Abuja. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. President Bola Tinubu has departed Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, after attending the extraordinary Joint Arab-Islamic Summit, which focused on the current situation in the Middle East. The presidential aircraft took off from the King Abdulaziz International Airport at about 3:30 p.m. local time. The one-day summit was attended by heads of state and government of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation and the League of Arab States. At the summit on Monday, President Tinubu called for an end to Israeli aggression in Gaza, acknowledging that the conflict has persisted for far too long, inflicting immeasurable suffering, and expressed deep concern on the humanitarian conditions in Gaza. Reiterating Nigeria's call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, President Tinubu affirmed the country's support for a two-state solution where both Israeli and Palestinians can coexist in security and dignity. He called for the establishment of a dedicated secretariat to implement the resolutions of the summit and urged the leaders to mandate a select heads of government to canvass support globally and oversee the implementation of the summit's resolutions. After the summit, President Tinubu also had an audience with the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Details of their discussion is yet to be known. In the meantime, the Saudi Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Saudi Arabia, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, Abdulaziz Al Saud, has assured Nigeria of support in its economic reform programs. The assurance came when the Crown Prince and President Bola Tinubu met on Monday in Riyadh on the sidelines of the Joint Arab-Islamic Summit. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, in a statement says the two leaders explored potential areas for cooperation, particularly oil and gas, agriculture, infrastructure, and the constitution of the Saudi-Nigeria Business Council. It stated that Nigeria wants an agreement with the Saudi government over a proposed $5 billion bilateral trade facility between the two countries. The Saudi Agricultural and Livestock Investment Company invested $1.24 billion in 2022 to acquire 35.43% stake in Olma Agri, one of Nigeria's leading agricultural firms. The Crown Prince commended President Tinubu's economic reforms, noting similarities to his steps to strengthen Saudi Arabia's stability and developments when he became Prime Minister. He also assured Nigeria of his support and promised to motivate his team to realize the various areas of partnership discussed at the meeting. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has sealed an agreement with Dangote Refinery to lift products directly. IPMAN National President Abubakar Megandi confirmed this in Abuja. Lydia Samson reports.
The agreement coming after a series of events birthed a partnership that will ensure steady, affordable supply of petroleum products nationwide.
We didn't start lifting products with Dangote, but we get assurance we are going to start lifting directly through Dangote. And that is the reason why we call this CWC, to inform all members to get set for taking product through Dangote direct, not through the third party.
citing backward integration benefits and positive impacts on Nigeria's foreign exchange market. He urged IPMAN members to rely on Dangote refinery and other refineries for wide products to ensure job creation, as well as supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Speaking on pricing, Garima expressed optimism that further negotiations with Dangote will yield lower rates. On compressed natural gas, the IPMAN president said the association is preparing for a seamless transition to CNG refill stations nationwide, stressing that IPMAN is committed to supporting the CNG initiative and partnering with the federal government for its overall success. This partnership is expected to increase efficiency, affordability, and economic growth for Nigeria's petroleum industry. A move expected to eliminate middlemen, reduce costs, and ensure steady supply. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says, contrary to narratives being pushed in some sections of the media, it is untrue that it was sabotaging the refining of petroleum products in some domestic refineries in the country. Group Chief Executive Officer, NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, said this at the 42nd Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists Annual International Conference and Exhibition. Lydia Sampson again reports.
With the theme, Resolving the Nigerian Energy Dilemma, Energy Security, Sustainable Growth and Affordability, Kyari said NNPC Limited has been supportive of domestic refineries by providing them with the crude needed to refine petroleum products, reiterating a demonstration of such support, particularly as NNPC Limited is a part owner of Dangote Refineries and Petrochemical Company, currently with about 7.2% equity at stake in Dangote Refinery, valued at about $1 billion. NNPC Limited will not sabotage its own or any other refinery.
Tell you that every government avoided two things: having a single window for foreign exchange and taking out PMS subsidy or PMS on petroleum product. And we must congratulate this president for having the courage to stand, to do these things. What this will do, short term, yes, I agree completely, prices are high, but it's a great thing. You will see stability in two things. Our foreign exchange market will stabilize, no doubt about it. Inordinate consumption will be controlled.
On domestic refinery, he says media stunts about NNPC and NNPC allegedly sabotaging its domestic refining is far from the truth. He reiterates that oil is found in very many unexpected locations today across the world and people have choices. Therefore, NNPC Limited saw an opportunity to unlock supply to the domestic refineries, not just Dangote, but any other refinery that operates in the country. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Ebonyi State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has sealed a site in Ugwashara in Ebonyi local government area of Ebonyi State, where suspected petroleum products are illegally refined. Chinaza John reports that 2 suspects linked to the illegal deal were also arrested at the site.
The raid was made possible through a tip-off by residents of the area when a truck loaded with petroleum products entered the site to offload its contents. The suspects were in the process of discharging the petroleum products into 3 GP surface tanks when men of the NSCDC reportedly arrived at the site.
Want to find the products?
Yes.
The Borno State Commandant of the NSCDC, Francis Nnadi, while parading the suspects, says the command under his watch is out against all saboteurs of the nation's commonwealth. He commended the timely intelligence report that led to the arrest of the suspects in the densely populated residential area.
Based on intelligence, my men were able to arrest a truck probably carrying about 45,000 liters of suspected, diverted, I would say stolen now, product located within a densely populated area in Abakaliki, which is against the norm of movement of petroleum products. Of course, we all know the risk during this period that the weather is getting for the fire and everything. And then we now realized there was a place where we found about 3 or 4 GP tanks with a few products by the side, where they intended to actually offload this product.
The suspects denied being part of any illegal activity in the site.
I'm a site engineer. We are doing fence. So me and the woman was in that site, and she's clearing the ground. I'm the one that is in charge of the fencing, and I have evidence, all the receipt of the materials that I bought.
It was black oil sludge. The sludge, that's black oil.
Black oil?
Yes.
However, the site has been sealed by the NSCDC, while the truck and GP tanks confiscated, pending when the real owners surface for explanation on the illegal activities at the site. In Abakaliki, Chinaza John, NTA News.
The near extinction of some species in the bioenvironment has remained a challenge in the Niger Delta region due to long years of degradation from illegal oil bunkering activities. Now, replanting of mangroves has, however, proven to be a viable means to balancing the ecosystem, has been implemented through the ongoing mangroves restoration initiative of the federal government in Ogoniland of Rivers State. Robinson Derateide has details.
Being the largest wetland in West Africa, the Niger Delta region of Nigeria is known for its rich biodiversity. The locals depend on the ecosystem in the rivers, swamps, and creeks for livelihood. Degradation of the ecosystem owing to oil exploration has a negative impact on flora and fauna, thus depleting the biodiversity, including the mangrove trees. An aspect of the hydrocarbon pollution remediation project in Ogoni shoreline is the mangrove restoration, with about 560 out of 3,000 hectares already restored. Many prominent Nigerians were involved in the symbolic planting of the mangrove trees, resulting in the return of some aquatic lives.
We are planting the red mangrove, we are planting the white mangrove, we are planting the black mangrove, because it is in the mangrove ecosystem that commercial fish species come to breed.
And I am also impressed that women are participating in this mangrove restoration.
There are concerns, however, about the effect of early and aggressive harvesting of aquatic lives by locals on the environment undergoing remediation. The significance of mangrove trees are vast, and preserving them should be a job for everyone. From Borno community in Rivers State, Robinson Derateide, NTA News.
And now for more information and analysis of the mangrove recovery efforts, let's join Robinson Derateide live in Port Harcourt. Rob, if you can hear me, surely you can hear me. What is the situation like in Ogoniland, and how successful has the recovery efforts been?
Yes, the prospect of the mangrove restoration in Ogoniland in River State is very bright. People are beginning to see that the ecosystem is being recovered. As a matter of fact, last week I was with the team that visited the Borno waterside. I am right in the Borno waterside, one of the shorelines in Ogoniland. If you look at my right-hand side, you will see some of the mangroves that are planted. Although the tide is very high now, it has covered some of them, but you could see some of them at my right-hand side. So this shows that the eco recovery effort of the federal government, not just in Ogoniland, in the Niger Delta, is becoming a reality. When some prominent Nigerians visited, they were even able to buy some marine lives like periwinkles. The local people whose livelihood depend on the ecosystem were already there picking, and they were excited that life is coming back. Their major call is that this good work that the federal government is doing through IPREP should be extended to other parts of the Niger Delta. The also good thing is that the IPREP is planting the major species that are found in the Niger Delta, the black, the white, and the red mangrove trade. So for Ogoni people, it's a good thing for them because they have lost a lot of their marine lives over the oil exploration over the years. And now that effort is being put in place to recover them, they are very happy.
Robinson, how feasible do you see the recovery efforts over there meeting the timeline?
The recovery effort is good because perhaps the man who is manning the office, IPREP office, is a man who also understands how to go about the job. As I speak to you, they have planted over 1,000 mangrove trees, and they are still going to about 10,000 of them. And it does not end just in one community, but in all the 4 local government areas of Ogoni land. And so the effort is very bright, and we are hoping that when it is extended to other parts of the Niger Delta, the ecosystem that has been devastated before will be fully recovered.
Robinson, I'd like to thank you for your contribution on the restoration of mangrove in Ogoni land. From Ogoni land in Rivers State, let's cross over now to the Center of Excellence, where Adiola will be our guide from our Lagos Network Center.
Thank you very much, Ayo. Strengthen the implementation of operational guidelines while upgrading infrastructure across BUD as some of the innovation the National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, is poised to entrench towards improving the sector in accordance with global standards. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the agency, Bola Oyebamiji, disclosed this at a briefing on plans to bring sanity to water transportation in the country. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
With growing population and greater demand for ease of mobility, water transportation ought to complement other means of transportation in Nigeria, offering flexibility and safer mode of navigating. While the country seeks to boost confidence in this crucial intermodal means of movement, human error and total disregard to safety rules and guidelines, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, Bola Oyebamiji, observed have overshadowed the successes recorded by the authority, and this is seriously being looked into.
We have reconsidered our safety campaign approach to focus more on the grassroots using community resources. We have deployed water marshals across different loading and offloading points in our country.
While calling on all stakeholders to join hands with NIWA towards ensuring safety and security on the nation's waterways, Oyebamiji advised all unregistered jetties to do the right thing.
But we give them the opportunity to come and register. But after that, we will enforce the transportation code as expected, and they will definitely face the music.
The authority is also planning to inject more technology in its operation while strengthening partnership in monitoring of all the nation's waterways. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
The world is gradually embracing knowledge-based economy, which brings new forms of work engagement that require virtual office presence through remote and hybrid work requirements. Larry Belay takes a look at these work engagements, which are fast dictating modes of operations for many organizations, especially the service-based ones.
Information technology has brought changes in enterprise functions and work situations all over the world, and Nigeria is no exception. Various sectors and subsectors, both in government and private establishments, are now embracing these work engagements, which are remote model of operation which allows employees to work from any location. Hybrid work method, which combines being physically at work on agreed days of the week with remote work. Many companies in Nigeria are now opting out of the usual 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 p.m. mode of operation and going the remote or hybrid way.
Clearly, COVID has compelled us to start doing work online. And many companies, many industries now see that that's the way to go. It's cheaper, it's more productive, and you can get more from the employees that you employ.
Now, we have come to an age which is more of knowledge intensive. They are knowledge workers. So what we needed is a broadband penetration. Knowledge workers are more of people that are not confined to this 8 o'clock, 4 p.m. No.
ICT experts say virtual presence in businesses and government work is becoming inevitable. To buttress their view is the present administration's investment in digital economy.
They should make sure that they are empowered for this age. We are living in an age that the world has become flat. That's the truth about whether you japa, that some people who are in this country who are earning dollars through virtual engagement. You see, they're not going anywhere, but they're living very fine.
With the coming of artificial intelligence, experts believe it won't be long before public and private establishments gravitate towards virtual offices, and Nigerians have to be abreast of these work engagements. In Lagos, Larry Bilayi, NTA News.
And those are bits from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Makurdi when we return from this break.
You could join us in Makurdi. The Benue State government has ordered the immediate reopening of Oju Awaji Road, which has been blocked for over 2 months following renewed crisis between Bonta and Okpute communities in Vandikia and Oju local government areas, respectively. Deputy Governor Sam Odi gave the directive during a meeting with stakeholders from both communities in Makurdi. Simbiat Agbaji reports.
The meeting was convened by the State Deputy Governor Sam Ode with stakeholders from Bonta in Konshisha and Okpute in Oju local government area of Benue State in attendance. The meeting is intended to address fresh clashes between the two communities over demarcation of the disputed land that has led to loss of lives and destruction of property over time, and also to convey the decision of the State Security Council to give the two local government areas another chance to allow the demarcation of the boundary, or the government will take over the land.
Don't allow us to go into the fields and do the actual demarcation exercise. Then it becomes a problem.
Director General, Homeland Security, retired Air Commodore Jacob Bawan, blamed traditional rulers of both communities for not taking actions to enforce peace between the two communities.
So the truth is that the ball is in your court. You have the responsibility.
Stakeholders from both communities harped on maintaining peace.
For us to have peace, let us not revenge. Programs has to be very peaceful. We will cooperate with you, Your Excellency. We pray to God to give the government the enablement to carry out this demarcation.
Deputy Governor and Chairman Benue State Boundary Commission will be meeting with the National Boundary Commission in a bid to find lasting solution to the demarcation of the boundary between Okpute and Bonta in the coming days. In Makurdi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the first batch of volunteers from Benue State have been deployed to the United Nations volunteers to build their capabilities in providing volunteer support services to humanity. Governor Hyacinth Alia at the presentation ceremony urged them to be good ambassadors of the state in all their assignments. Elias Itia reports that the governor was represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Mrs. Deborah Abbey.
The United Nations Volunteers is an organ of the United Nations that promotes peace and development by strengthening trust, solidarity, and reciprocity through volunteerism. The deployment of the 8 volunteers from Benue State to the United Nations Volunteers is to enhance their knowledge in various endeavors of community and humanitarian services. Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Deborah Abe, said the initiative is a demonstration of the present administration in impacting lives, especially the needy. While commending the United Nations for its numerous support programs in the state, the governor urged them to put in their best in all their respective engagements.
You will be exposed to stations and places and people you have never met, but it will be expected that you put in your best.
For the United Nations, the initiative is a product of the partnership with the state government to empower its citizens in professional fields of humanitarian services.
Looking at the different profiles and portfolios that these volunteers will be, working on, it shows that the approach is not just the kind of volunteer, but it's a professional role that they're going to grow in. And what this means for Benue State is that you're going to be having professionals who are going to come back to the state and also build the capacity of other young people.
You are in a position to really influence and be a catalyst for change and have the capacity to help achieve the 2030 agenda to the SDGs.
More batches are to be deployed subsequently based on needs assessment and participation. In Makudi, Elias, Itiaf, NTA News.
And that's our beat from Makudi. We now return to Ayodeji in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thanks, Susan. African countries at COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, have launched an implementation plan of the integrated strategy on weather forecasting with hopes that the continent's capacity to report early warning and action will prevent loss of lives before disasters occur. Charles Alpha reports from the African Pavilion in Baku.
Early and accurate weather forecasting, getting the right and early data preparedness. These delegates from Ghana, Nigeria, the Gambia, among others, think can help save lives and prevent a catastrophic impact of climate change. The implementation plan, they believe, will promote technological transfer, invest in meteorological infrastructure, and empower nations to effectively monitor weather climate situations as well as water levels.
A very good strategy which will allow us, in terms of a continent, to work directly with our member states.
Most African weather infrastructure, they believe, is either obsolete or dilapidated, and implementing this plan will depend largely on stable power system to foster uninterrupted early warning reporting.
Over the last year, if you look at it, 90% of the energy investments went into other places, geographies other than Africa. And Africa, in countries like Africa that we have, where more than half the population today lives, they struggle without being able to have the same thing that he said, the access. So one of those things we have looked at is the root cause of this problem.
Adequate, accurate and timely weather reporting by the Meteorological Agency all around Africa, the African Union and Alton Apart. The organizers of this event at the African Pavilion say it can't happen without leveraging renewable energy. It means that when there is no stable power supply, this meteorological agency can't do accurate data forecasting. And so there has to be a gradual move from unstable power supply to renewable energy to be able to save lives and monitor the climate change that we all are experiencing today. From Baku, Azerbaijan, Charles Alpha.
With the change in narratives on project execution, Abuja, the nation's capital, is now evolving in infrastructure development as obtainable in other developed countries of the world. In this background report, correspondent Onoze Yakubu takes a look at the economic impacts of the critical infrastructure facilities being provided by the Nyesom Wike-led administration, which harps on the renewed hope initiative of the president.
Available statistics indicate that the components of developed cities like London, New York, Beijing, and Shanghai, among others, are improved infrastructure that enhance the socio-economic well-being of the people. In Africa, Abuja, the nation's capital, has been acclaimed the fastest growing capital city. This can be attested to with the change in narratives on infrastructure development. Good road network stakeholders believe is a catalyst to improve infrastructure development.
Infrastructure development is not just the foundation upon which economies are built. It is the lifeblood of national progress.
From the city center to the area councils and satellite towns, the Wiki-led administration is marching west with action with the construction and upgrading of city and rural roads.
Starting from Ahmadu Bello Way, where you need to come in, and incidentally at the intersection of where the future bus terminal for the FCT is coming to be on ground. This and a couple of other network of roads within the Mabushi is aimed at opening up district infrastructure in Mabushi for rapid development.
City developers say the Abuja master plan is a working document that needs to be reviewed to meet the current reality of development. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Now let's join Onoze Yakubu, who is strategically located somewhere in the FCT, to give us an update on the situation in area councils in terms of infrastructure developments. Onoze?
Thank you, Ayodeji Makinde. It's my pleasure being here. If I say the Renewed Hope initiative of President Bola Tinubu is a reality in the FCT, I may not be wrong. This is because of series of infrastructure development we are witnessing nowadays. Don't forget, during the 1-year anniversary of President Bola Tinubu, FCT Minister Yeson Wiki inaugurated so many projects within the capital city. Shortly before that, across the 6 area councils of the FCT minister also flagged off a series of what he termed emergency infrastructure projects across the 6 area councils. And all those projects are to be inaugurated this December this year. Don't forget, we also had another leg of infrastructure flag off some months ago, where the minister also wanted to inaugurate them to mark the 2nd anniversary of President Bola Tinubu. What we are witnessing today is unprecedented, both within the city center and the satellite town. Right now, we are here in Kuje town, and we have 2 segments of ongoing road constructions in Kuje town. First is the one from the airport expressway down to where we call Tipper Garage. That road is ongoing, and as you can see behind me, work is ongoing. And the second segment of the road, which is also going, is the township road from the Tipper Garage that will connect to the LEA head office in Kuje. The road is almost completed. Don't forget also, earlier this afternoon, the minister inspected the ongoing Saburi road along the Kuba Expressway. And the minister was impressed with the level of work because the work has reached an appreciable level of completion. All this project is geared towards improving the lives and well-being of the teeming FCT residents. Don't forget also within the city center, before now, the roads, if you are traveling, you are moving around the city center, you have a series of diversion. But gradually today, with this development, it's becoming a thing of the past. That is the situation from here.
Onoze, I'd like to thank you for that update and situation in terms of infrastructure developments within the Federal Capital Territory and the opening of new roads. Obviously, it will impact development. Thank you. And from the Federal Capital Territory, let's go over to the northeast of the country, our Maiduguri Network Center. And Abubakar is next on Nationwide.
That's true, Ayodeji. Good to see you. The National Human Rights Commission Special Independent Investigative Panel, SIP, on human rights violation in counterinsurgency operations in Northeast has presented its report and found no evidence to support the claims made by Reuters, a foreign media organization, Pauline Kujevana completes the story.
And on behalf of the panel, I want to present this report to you. Thank you very much.
After 18 months of investigation, the 7-member panel, led by former Supreme Court Judge Justice Abdul Aboki, finally vindicated the Borno state government and military on allegations of human rights violations in counterinsurgency operations in Northeast. The report of the findings by the Special Independent Investigative Panel on human rights violation in counterinsurgency operations in the Northeast was handed over to Borno state government by the National Human Rights Commission.
In a country like ours, allegations of human rights violation are not taken for granted, so that there will be accountability and reforms.
The report was very comprehensive, insightful, illustrative. They have done justice to the investigation.
In a related development, the Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, has inaugurated the Borno State Committee on Business and Human Rights, chaired by the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Hawa Abubakar, aims to promoting healthy business practices and protect the rights of individuals and communities.
The journey we are on today began with a deep commitment to aligning Nigeria's business environment with international human rights standards.
This initiative marks a significant step forward in our commitment to fostering a sustainable and equitable business environment that respects and upholds human rights as we rebuild our dear state.
The committee's work geared to driving economic development and ensuring that businesses operate responsibly in Borno State. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Let's take you to the judiciary now. Towards ensuring the smooth dispensation of justice and reduce the burden of traveling to Gombe for appeals, the Court of Appeal has resumed session in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. This development by the Court of Appeal, held at Court 1 of the Borno State High Court, is expected to bring justice closer to the people towards saving them time, resources, and effort. The report. Though an abridged session, the resumption of sitting in Maiduguri by the Court of Appeal followed an intervention by its president, Justice Monica Bolna and Dongba Mensem, towards making the work of counsels, defendants, and clients less cumbersome for smooth and speedy dispensation of justice. Presiding over 10 cases filed by different appellants, Justice Ali Abubakar Babandi Gumel announced that the Court of Appeal will henceforth be sitting weekly every month in Maiduguri, in addition to creating a registry for public domain. Borno State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Hawa Abubakar, commended Governor Babagana Umar Zulum for providing an enabling environment for the judiciary to continue to thrive, and equally acknowledged foresight of the President of the Court of Appeal. She affirmed determination to take the judiciary to the next level, in line with the vision of Borno State Governor.
I would like to seize this opportunity to thank His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum for all the support he has been rendering to see that dispensation of justice in this state has not been relented.
Out of 10 cases presented for hearing, 8 have been adjourned to 13 November 2024. For now, the Court of Appeal sitting in Maiduguri will remain open for sessions throughout this week. In Maiduguri. This is Nationwide on the Nigerian Television Authority. Bilkisu in Jos has the next set of reports for us, but that will be right after this break.
To Jos. Plateau State government has handed over 21 operational security vehicles to security agencies in the state to enhance their operations. Indiang and Bagang has details.
To strengthen the security architecture in Plateau State, government has taken steps to collaborate with various security agencies operating in the state to ameliorate their plight. Presenting the vehicles, the Secretary to the Government of Plateau State says the move is born out of the need to enhance patrol and other related security activities within the state. He emphasized that government is convinced that no meaningful socio-economic activity can take place without peace and security.
Also working hand in hand with the security agencies. That's why you can see they are all here. So it's a partnership And so we are fulfilling our own end of the partnership. We also expect that the security agencies will use the cars for the work that they are supposed to use it for, so that they can improve the security situation in Plateau State.
I want to assure the Plateau State government that this vehicle will be used judiciously for the purpose at which they are meant for. The vehicle will also enhance and boost our own operational activity.
Additional 59 vehicles being refurbished will soon be delivered to the security agencies to enhance their operations in Jos, Indenyan, and the Abuja. NTA News.
3 Division and Operation Safe Haven have made significant progress with the arrest of 10 suspects and recovery of a number of arms and ammunition within their joint operation areas in Plateau State. Again, Indiang Adeabagyang has details.
The operations began with the arrest of 2 suspected masterminds of a foil attack at Kazok in Barikin Ladi. Troops recovered AK-47 rifle with magazine and 96 rounds of 7.62 mm special, as well as cartridges from the criminals. The troops also foiled an armed robbery incident along Bot in Bokos, while 2 victims were rescued. Army information officer hints that the troops busted a criminal syndicate in Mikan local government area and arrested 4 suspects who are making confessions to further aid operation. Similarly, the troops also arrested a female criminal who has been impersonating as a soldier, intimidating residents along Rukuba Road. The information officer adds that during an operation in Jingiri, wife of a notorious bandit led troops to recover AK-47 rifle buried on the outskirts of the village. Other arrests were made in Kwatas, Fangin, and Wase, where security agencies neutralized a notorious bandit kingpin, Kachala Saleh, at Kinishi Forest. At Sabon Kaura, Zangon Kata local government area, security personnel foiled a kidnap incident, recovered arms. The 3 Division and Operation Safe Haven says it will sustain fight against crimes in the joint operations area in line with its operational mandate. In Jos, Indenyan, and the Abuja. NTA News.
That's our contribution from Jos. Is back to Ayodeji for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thanks, Bilikisu. The struggle to tackle the issue of out-of-school children in the country requires governments at all levels to have renewed political will and demonstrate commitment to education. This is part of the decisions reached at the end of a 3-day retreat organized by the National Commission for Almajiri and Out-of-School Children's Education, with support from the Office of the National Security Advisor. Spokesperson of the Commission, Nura Mohammed, indicates that the retreat highlights the urgent need for a reliable and verifiable data to inform policy decisions on out-of-school children, secure funding from governments, corporate entities, international organizations, and individuals. It will also employ, train, and retrain teachers to ensure quality education. It is believed that utilizing information technology for teaching and learning, sensitizing the public on the Commission's mission, and integrating skills acquisition into teaching and learning for self-reliance are key in achieving success. The 9th edition of the Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies National Quiz Competition on Legislature and Democracy for Senior Secondary Schools in Nigeria has ended in Abuja. Mohammed Rabiu reports that scholarships were awarded to the winners of the competition to study up to tertiary level.
Which of these is a type of resolution? A, plural resolution. B, simple resolution. C, distinct resolution. D, concomitant resolution.
Option B, simple resolution.
And just go straight and say, that is the correct answer.
After hours of a keen contest among participating schools from 6 geopolitical zones, 3 schools could not go for the last round. The annual competition was initiated by NILS to provide continued education on the legislature and broaden the psyche of students on the history, legislative process and procedure, as well as democratic governance.
Some of the questions asked these children, some of us could not answer those questions. And you see these children getting the question where we are getting no to the question there. So you have done very well.
In Itona High School, Rivers won the first position, followed by School for the Gifted Gwagwalada Abuja and Bishop Otubelu Genoret Trans Ekulu Enugu, who went home with second and third positions in that order.
I'm very happy for the opportunity. No, many people always criticize us, public schools. They say we are just a bunch of slackers, we don't know anything. But we have been able to show them we have passed through the state level, we passed through the zonal level, and we are able to come here and emerge winners.
Thank God for what we got. Professional up, it's not easy. So we are happy with what we got.
In Abuja, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA.
And next is sports updates.
Nigeria's Super Eagles continue their camp schedules Tuesday in Abidjan ahead of the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier against Benin Republic. The team's focus is to get the maximum 3 points at stake and join already qualified teams for the championship on Thursday. The spirit in camp is high as the technical crew are working on strategies to neutralize the attacking approach of their counterpart from Benin Republic. In boxing, all is now set for the World Boxing Federation title fight, tagged Simplified Rumble in Rivers for Champions, scheduled for the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Port Harcourt on December 7, 2024. The main event for the night will see Nigeria's Taiwo Agbaje take on Lauren Jaffet of Tanzania for the vacant WBF featherweight world title. 9 other bouts are slated for the night, which will see the return of undefeated former world heavyweight title contender Ikechukwu Ibe Abuchi. President of the World Boxing Federation, Howard Kohlberg, has confirmed that he will be in Port Harcourt for the event.
I've also asked my top referee throughout the WBF from Europe to officiate as a referee, and it's exciting news for Nigeria. It's important for the world to see that Nigerian boxing belongs at the top.
In tennis, competitors at this year's ATP tennis finals return to the courts Tuesday and Wednesday for a second taste of action. World number 1 Yannick Sinner will attempt to build on his impressive start Tuesday evening when he takes on Taylor Fritz. Yannick defeated Alex in straight set in his opening match and needs to up his game against 5th-seeded Fritz, who also defeated Daniil Medvedev. With Sports Update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
And that is nationwide. I'd like to thank you for watching. From all of us here at the NTA headquarters in Abuja, good evening.